Zimbabwe tinokuchingamidza ikapa chirongwa The Men's Corner. It is a warm welcome to each and every one of you. For those that are just joining in for the very first time, thank you so much. This is what we do on Thursdays here. Come up with various topics, debating some of the issues that are happening in Zimbabwe politically, and trying to educate one another on what is actually going on there. And we've got some very capable people here with a lot of information that some of us didn't know about, and they are gladly happy to share their thoughts with us on the show. We thank you guys so much for being with us here every Thursdays. A couple of things to say. I know that what's going on here? Sekuru? Yeah, there's quite a bit of noise coming from there.
Yaba
noise.
I think he's doing the vacuum cleaning.
Okay, all right. Thank you. Thank you very all right. Thank you so much, Sekuru. Now, last week, if you remember, ladies and gentlemen, we talked about what Maimujuru said when she was interviewed here in the UK when she was visiting. And, there were various thoughts from people. Mkomatish thought that she did very well, and because she can't disclose some of the issues that was happening in the ZANU-PF, because she might be imprisoned for it. But some panelists here felt that maybe it was a chance for her to actually come clean and apologize to the people of Zimbabwe that what she did or what she saw in the ZANU-PF was not good enough, and she failed to apologize for that. But anyhow, another issue to mention is that I don't know, I think it was Monday, it was Saturday actually, last week. I saw an email coming through from our management here on Zimnet Radio saying that, DJ Sodza has been nominated for some kind of awards at Zim Achievers Awards, which will be held here in London on the 6th of May this year. So I was pretty surprised by that. I looked a little bit worried, and I had to really check twice that was that actually DJ Sodza? Did they mean me or someone else out there? But I'm told that it was actually my name on it. So I don't know what to say about that. But nevertheless, what followed was incredible, really, because the vote was supposed to start, people were supposed to start voting on Monday. And once I got that confirmation that my name was there, I shared it with the team here, and everyone was happy. And Sekuru took on the lead and said that he was going to be the campaign manager to try and get people to vote for us. But unfortunately, what he did, Sekuru, he knows a lot of people, so he sent it to a lot of people. So when the vote opened on Monday, the system of Zim Achievers Awards crashed, because Sekuru had gathered a lot of people to vote for me. So even as we speak, 4 days down the line, this website is still down because it just couldn't cope with the traffic that was coming to vote for me. So I would like to say thank you to Sekuru there, but I don't think Zim Achievers Awards organizers will be very pleased to hear this, Sekuru. Sekuru, welcome to the show.
Well done, Sekuro. Mukorokoto DJ Sodza.
Congratulations. I'm so happy.
Masquera sei seguro.
Wasona seru zikuri kwakadii kubasa.
Kuma studios kuri dari sekuru amendo kwenyu kuri seiko. Hamuna kubatanidzwa ere nemaraids akaitwa kwavanhu vakaurayiwa kuLondon?
Ndakangoona mota dzemapurisa masikati dzakaita umbambamba mu-M6 ndiri mu-M6 vakautoda kutondidhuma vachimhanya kuya kuno ndangozonzwawo zvokuti zvakafamba sei ndangozonzwawo pandiri but life ndakavaona vakaita umbambamba murodhi vachidzinga dzimwe mota dzese murodhi
vachibvisa motikari. Yes,
ndikati kunenge kwaitika zvakakora.
Apparently this guy lives in Birmingham and he hired a car there and he drove it into London and committed the atrocities that he did. But anyhow, that aside, we've got some pressing issues that are happening in Zimbabwe that we want to talk about. But before I do that, let me welcome Koma Tawanda to the show. Koma Tawanda, welcome to the show.
Makadi DJ Sodza, tinoti makorokoto. I'm sure, congratulations. You know, you deserve it, my brother. You're doing a good job. You know, right. You're fighting the struggle, you know, in your own way, in a very important way. So please continue to do that, and I hope and pray that you will be the winner. Okay. I think I'll be praying for that.
All right. Thank you so much, Mukoma Tawanda, for that.
Shumba pamutatobvunza inimi unenge muri kudhuze naye. Ndakatobvunza inimi nesashumba.
Right. Okay. Sally, welcome to the show. Ask South Africa quite a hurricane new. Sally, welcome to the show.
Hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you. Welcome.
I forgot I switched off my microphone. Thank you, DJ Sodza, and congratulations. I'm so proud of it. I'm telling you, you are going to win. You have done such a fantastic job, and man, I am so glad. I really am.
There's some very good people that were nominated there, Sally. It's highly unlikely.
I don't care. You are the best. End of story. Finish. Okay.
Oh, gosh. Right. Mukoma Wilbert, welcome to the show.
Just hang on a minute.
Yes.
I want to send my sympathies to the British people and the people that were injured and the people that passed on, and your courage and your calmness is absolutely brilliant. Well done. And I'm terribly sorry.
Right. Thank you so much, Sally, for that. Thank you. Koma Wilbert, welcome to the show. You are in London, Koma Wilbert, aren't you?
No, I'm in Manchester.
Oh, you're in Manchester. Okay. How are you there in Manchester?
No, I'm fine. Yeah, thank you very much. I thought you and Nasekuro were supposed to go on a long trip.
No, we are going second week of April.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was just informing people in advance that we'll be going on holiday. You see.
Okay. Well, yes. if you do win the this prize, I could go and collect it for you. You know.
No, but I will be back. I will be back to collect it. You know.
I'll happily volunteer for that kind of thing, you know, no problem at all.
No problem, but I think you'll be a suitable replacement for that one, I think. On second thought.
Right, thank you so much, Koma Wilbert. Now, for some people who are asking, Kuti, how do you vote? I don't know if the website is up and running yet. I didn't check today.
DJ Sodza, it's up and running, but I can't find the thing for the voting.
Oh, okay. We'll have to work on that.
I don't know. It's still cockeye.
Yeah. Tete Mary is just texting me here that no, I've already voted for you. The website is up and running. Thank you so much, Tete Mary. Mkoma Tafadzwa ku United States of America is saying thank you so much. We are listening and we are going to vote. Mkanya Mkanya I want to Mkanya wangu munom Leicester. I will vote for you, DJ. Thank you so much. Then Mkoma.
I will. I have voted.
I don't know if they haven't yet. Okay.
I will.
Anyhow, we gotta make a start here. I want to start with you, Mkoma Tawanda. I know that there was, should I say, was it a big demonstration? I don't know. Someone was telling me that the turnout was not as what they expected. It was disappointing to say the least, but people turned up. And Changirai was there, it was there, and the likes of that. But Maimujuru Juru was not seen there. And I saw as well on social media, some people were saying that Maimujuru Juru should have been there. But I'm told the spokesperson of Maimujuru Juru came out and said they are in support of Nera. And, some of their people were there as well in support. I don't know. But Mkoma Tawanda, you've got more information that you want to share with us about what happened yesterday and the petition which was handed over to ZEC?
Yes, thank you very much, DJ. First of all, it was a very successful demonstration, a very big demonstration. The turnout, contrary to the reports you got, was actually huge, and this was in light with the events that were leading to this demonstration. You remember that one day before, 2 days before the demonstration, the social media was awash with notices coming from state operatives telling everyone that the demonstration had been cancelled. And you also remember that even Herald carried a story that was saying the government has installed some CCTV cameras in and around the streets of Harare, obviously to get those people who will be in the forefront of the demonstration. So, I mean, in light of all those threats, in light of all those things that the government, did before the demonstration, we actually said the demonstration was, huge and successful. And even from the footages, you could see the number of people who turned up for the demo, that it was like a rally, And the good thing was all the principals, all the leaders in Nera were there, and they gave speeches to the people. And also one thing that I noticed that I'm really proud of, I mean about Zimbabweans, was even people who were not, who did not publicly endorse the demonstration, like the code, which is apparently led by Tendai Biti. They did not publicly support the demonstration, but Mr. Tendai Biti showed up and he was given a platform to speak. People like from the citizen movements, Pastor Mawarire was there. He did not do a video to support the demonstration. We are not complaining, but he showed up for the demo, which is very good, and he gave a very inspiring speech. And I promised Sunday from the now defunct Jamuga was also there, and he was given, a platform to speak. I saw Zimbabweans coming together. Even some of the leaders who were speaking there were even endorsing some leaders like Morgan Tsvangirai, saying he is our leader, for 2018. He will be our candidate for 2018. So there were a lot of positives that came from that demonstration. So to us, it was a very successful demonstration. But let me give the background of why Nera decided to go in the streets on this day. You remember there was an issue, a very big issue for biometric voter registration, BVR. BVR, the government had agreed with UNDP that UNDP was going to help in the procurement of BVR equipment that was going to be used for voter registration. And they actually floated the tender. And companies, several companies, some in the United States, some in the UK, one in South Africa, and some from Zimbabwe, tendered their tenders, willing to supply the BVR equipment. And among those companies, I want the people of Zimbabwe to note that the other company that responded to the tender was Nikov. And we all know what Nikov did in the last election. And then NERA was happy about that. The people of Zimbabwe were happy about that process. And then a few weeks ago, we saw the government somersaulting and saying UNDP was no longer going to be involved in the procurement of the BVR equipment. And that was shocking because NERA is in constant consultation, and they have bi-weekly meetings with ZEC. And at no way, at any time, did ZEC, hint on that the government was going to stop the involvement of UNDP. So it shocked everyone. And not only that, a few days later, we started seeing some very disturbing articles coming out in the state media saying the Zimbabwe was not ready for biometric voter registration because of now they were quoting things that have happened that are bad about the BVR in other countries, and they were just saying it will not be good for Zimbabwe to do BVR registration right now. And that was in about 10, because we had all agreed that BVR was going to be used. And then later on, the government also announced that it was now actually going to take over the procurement of the BVR equipment. And I want Zimbabwe to note this. BVR equipment cost in excess of $50 million, and that was what UNDP was willing to support Zimbabwe with. And this was a government that budgeted only $9 million for the 2018 election. And then it was now turning about and saying it's prepared to foot that $50 million bill to procure BVR equipment. I mean, it's shocking. Where do they get the money? This is a broke government, a bankrupt government that doesn't even have money to pay its workers. But it was now prepared all of a sudden to pay $50 million for BVR. And as NERA, we tried to engage them, we tried to engage ZEC, and you remember just 2 days before the demonstration, 2 days before NERA went into the streets, there was a meeting between NERA and ZEC. And we thought the discussion was going to be centered around the BVR equipment, only to see Rita Makarau coming with articles from Daily News and Newsday, and she was now bombarding NERA officials with questions and accusations, saying you've been going to these newspapers reporting that ZEC is not doing its job, putting my image as the head of ZEC. And there was nothing in the agenda for the day that showed that we're going to discuss BVR. This was when all hell broke loose. If you saw the article that was saying Rita Makarau was forced to flee, NERA officials, they just got mad. I mean, they got angry. And I'm sure every Zimbabwean who understands, why NERA officials got angry. They felt really betrayed. They were called for a meeting, and they thought they were going to discuss the topical issues of BVR, but they were now being treated like school children, being taunted for reporting, what you called lies to private media. So this is the background. This is the reason why NERA decided to go in the streets. So that meeting ended up being aborted, and we sought permission to have the demonstration, which permission was given, and prior to being given permission, some NERA officials actually sat with top security officers. The security officers actually invited NERA for that meeting, and they gave their blessing after NERA had explained their standpoint. They gave the blessing to the demonstration. And on the letter that Nera was given, the police agreed to the demonstration, but they banned Nera, the Zimbabwean people to march using the route that they had given. They said, you are just going to go and be at one place, and then you get 10 people to go and deliver your petition. Those are the people who are going to go to ZEC. No one is going to be allowed to march to ZEC. That's why you saw people, gathered at one point, And for the sake of peace, Nera just said, we are going to oblige. But next time, definitely, it's not going to be like that. So that's the reason why you saw thousands of people gathered there in one place. But, it was also good because we had now our leaders explaining BVR, explaining to the people what had exactly happened. So I think at this point in time, I need to thank the people of Zimbabwe, for coming up in their thousands, despite the threats from the police that they were going to crash the demonstrations. People still stand up, even as early as 6 a.m. Those trucks and the police and the anti-riot police were all over town. But the people of Zimbabwe, because they understand, the importance of BVR, they turned up and they were there.
Okay. Thank you so much, Radzokora, for explaining that. So this was a success, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. It definitely was.
Thank you so much. Sekuru, did you see it as a success?
Ini kana pakangomira vanhu tu vachitotaura kuti zvirirwa narita makarau negovernment hatizvidika. Yatova success iyo.
Yatova success iyo. Thank you.
Yatova success because the government doesn't want anybody to say that publicly. So in as far as I'm concerned, it's not really the numbers that I am looking at. It's the courage to stand up to what is right that I'm saying is a success.
Okay. Were you disappointed not to see Mai Mujuru among others there?
No, not at all. You see, the problem is people are looking for personalities. I'm not looking for personalities. I'm looking at the principle and the concept. I'm saying, for the purposes of a better election, a credible election, what is required, and anybody who is pushing that agenda gets my thumbs up.
Thank you so much, Sekuru. Well explained. Sally, did you see it as as a positive that these guys did what they did yesterday and hand the petition in?
Look, a demo for me is positive. Okay, as long as it's a demo. I mean, the BVR thing. Okay, right at the beginning, when UNDP was involved, I thought, how long is this going to last? Because Nikuv is an Israeli company, and one of the underground backers, in inverted brackets, is Mossad. Now, Mossad is the Israeli intelligence. They were started to go and hunt down the Nazi guys after World War II. These guys are the biggest buggers in security that you can ever have. Okay? My thing has always been, what the hell is Nico doing in Zimbabwe? But I've worked something out in my mind about that, okay, eventually. Then the second thing that sent off bells, okay, was Nikov was one of the bidders in the tender. I thought, oh, okay. What's going to happen is Nikov is going to use the Zimbabwean government to take over BVR, however they are going to organize it, whether they paid them or whatever they did, okay? but it's going to be supposedly in Zek's hands. Okay, but it's Nikov that has given them the order, well, I don't know, order, if you want to call it order, to do that. Because that BVR cannot be in anybody else's hands except in Nikov's hands, because otherwise they can't cheat, or they can't rig it, or they can't fix it, or whatever you want to call it. Okay? But Nikov had to get their hands on that. They had to. And now they've done it. Well done, Nikov.
Okay, right.
But the demo was brilliant, okay? For me, any demonstration against anything that ZANU-PF does is pambere, okay? I'm very happy. And I'm so glad that it was in one place. Because then there was no opportunity, there was very little opportunity for ZANU-PF to fiddle it and make it into a violent demo. So, well done.
Well done. Okay. Thank you so much. I want to talk a little bit more about this biometric voters roll in a minute. But before I do that, I want to hear what Mukoma Wilbert have to say about the demonstration which happened yesterday. Mukoma Wilbert, I'm sure you saw what happened. What's your thought on that one?
Yes, I did see what happened, and I listened to some of the speeches as well. I think again, one of the tragedies in our situation is that we are walking into these elections, 2018. I'll be perfectly honest with you. I don't think Kuti Zimbabwe, if we go into these elections without any meaningful reforms, there will be any change. Mugabe will go ahead and break them again, just as he did in 2018. So I really would like the opposition to make a stand and say without reforms they will not take part in the elections. And unfortunately, I didn't see that. What the demo was about was that the acknowledging that with this biometric voter registration and the way ZANU-PF is getting heavily involved is another sign that they are going to rig these elections. But instead of saying, unless this is done, we are not participating, they were already sending signals that they are going to participate regardless. And that is not being helpful. If you're going to demonstrate, you have got to be clear of what is it you want. And maybe the first speaker there could clarify what the petition was saying and what kind of commitment came from all the opposition parties to it. Because I read an article in one of the papers on the internet saying that one of the things they are demanding now, the opposition is demanding, is that the UN should take over Zek's role in the elections. So if that is one of their demands, how many of the oppositions have committed themselves to that, and that they're prepared to to draw the line in the sand and say, unless this is done, we are not going to participate in the elections, because there's no point in saying we don't want this to happen, and you're sending the same message at the same time saying, well, but we are going to participate in the elections anyway. I think that is what I really would want to hear the opposition come out clearly and say what is it where they stand on that issue.
Okay, but Mukoma Wilbert, in my own shallow political background, I think I've gone that route before, asking people that why are you participating in these elections? But I was told that failure to participate, it's an own goal and a free ticket for ZANU-PF to retain power.
That argument was given in 2018, and at the time, remember, SADC was urging the opposition not to participate in the elections without the reforms. So that would have forced, if they had said we are not participating, that would have forced ZANU-PF to go back to the original GPA, where they are saying these reforms must be implemented. Because people, I think maybe one of the problems we have had is that many people did not understand what the GPA was about and what the GNU was about. One of the fundamental things that they agreed in the GPA is that they must implement the reforms so that next elections are free, fair, and credible, and not a repeat of the 2008 elections. And if you look at the 2013 elections, they were not free and fair. Mm-hmm. Even Changira himself was acknowledging it on the day of voting. So the GNU failed to deliver on its original promise, promise,
all
free,
right.
fair, and credible elections.
All right. Thank you so much, Mkoma.
Yeah, let me respond to that.
But I'm Mkoma Tawanda. Sekuru, you want to respond to that before? Ndine vamwe vakamirira kutaura.
Zvinhu zvamukoma Wilbert izvi zvatinetsa zvokungoramba vachingodzokoroda kuti free and fair and credible election. Mareforms avari kutaura takamatsokodzera tatsokodzerazve. One of the reforms is the electoral register, the voters roll. No imwe atinoda kuti igadzirweyo. Now, if we are fighting to get it corrected, mukoma Wilbert kuti hapana mareforms, hamuna kutaura zvemareforms. Hatizi kuti vanoda kuti titaure api.
Well, right. Sekuru, maybe you could clarify that point. When you
let me clarify
in the 2013 elections, were all the reforms in place or not?
Let him come
down to 2013 no problem yandinayo ipapapo. Problem yandinayo Wilbert neweka ipapapo ndekuti hold out in the back to 2013. Isusu we are looking forward to 2018. How do we avoid a repeat of these elections? Because inonzi yakadeuka yomuguchu aiorehwi.
I agree with you 100%, Sekuru. But the thing here is if the reforms that should have been in place in 2018 are not in place now, then you will have the same problems.
Okay,
you cannot run away from that.
Okay.
No, but
Mukoma Wilbert, Mukoma Tawanda wambopindura. I think you want to clarify something.
When Mukoma Wilbert just want to take us back, like what Sekuru is rightly saying. The purpose, like I said in the beginning, the objective of this demonstration was to get ZEC or the government to reverse their decision to remove UNDP from the proceedings of procuring BVR equipment. Because BVR equipment, BVR itself, is some of the things that NERA has been fighting for. It's in the reform. It's part of the reform. And the government did only just wake up wanting to do that or agreeing to do that. It was through pressure from political parties that they agreed to do that. And how was the biometric voter registration going to help the people of Zimbabwe? The BVR was going to ensure, because like the Guru said, one of the things that we are fighting for again was the voters' roll. And that was the main reason why ZANU-PF was being able to sit in the 2013 elections. But with the coming in of the BVR, we were now sure that the government was going to find it incredibly difficult, to put dead people on the voters' roll, And secondly, it was not going to be able to bus people from one polling station to another. You also remember that the same people have been voting 3, 4, 5 times, because they will vote here, and then they will get buzzed, and then they will go and vote there. But with a new voters roll on the BVR, which will ensure that when a person is registering, the stamp is taken, the picture is taken, And those things are also done or repeated on the day of voting. So you can see clearly here that this was a big coup, this was a big score. It was, a victory for the political parties and for the people of Zimbabwe, because we were now going to come up with a new voters' roll, a completely new voters' roll with no dead people, So this was a step in the right direction. So I don't know why Mkoma will keep blaming the political parties in NERA after all these achievements. This is a milestone achievement that NERA and the political parties had managed to achieve, to just get the government to agree to be here. And we are still fighting for other reforms that are out there.
Can I just ask him one question, please?
Okay, yeah, please go ahead.
Thank you very much. Mataura zvinodakadza. I'm enjoying what you are saying, and it's exactly in sync with what I think. But there is a question andinayo. Kana muchiti BVR, just for the benefit of our listeners,
it's biometric voter registration.
Biometric voter registration. Are we going to have biometric voting?
No, it's just biometric voter registration. Just the registration, which definitely was going to help in the creation of a new voters' roll. And you also understand that the voters' roll is one, thing that the government was using to rig the election.
It's been a contentious issue to Registrar General. But let me just zero in on what I really want you to explain to the people. Biometric voter registration. What exactly is that?
Basically, the basic thing that come with biometric voter registration are that one, we are going to come up with a new electronic voters' roll. And secondly, mainly, I'm just talking about the main thing. Secondly, when the people go to register, they are fingerprinted, their thumb is taken, and the picture is taken. So now we have the people who are supposed to be voting correctly on the voters' roll. Unlike previously, where you're having dead people and dubious people and people with no addresses for that particular area, or people who are not supposed to be voting in a certain area, being accommodated in that voters' roll.
I thought we do that, but notoriously to passports, etc. Don't we do that?
Yeah, but you know that some people will not be having those things. They will not be having the two, but they will not be having my addresses, and then they end up getting my affidavits and things like that. And those things have been hugely manipulated by that here, where you have people just coming in with affidavits, when they are from another area, and then going to vote in another area.
Yeah. I'll just try to make myself very clear. I've invited various people to listen in, and some will probably end up calling in to understand what we are discussing about the NERA demo and the BVR kits and what are they. Now, the issue that I know about BVR personally is that it's the capture of personal data, including facial features from picture recognition, and also taking of your fingerprints, and also capturing your other personal details, your date of birth, etc., where you were born. Things that fully identify you, that are unique to you. That's what, as far as I'm concerned, it is. And I know for the fact that most passports across the world are now biometric. And when you go and scan them, those kind of details come, which means even if an immigration officer is looking at you, what is on your passport should be able to match with the person that is looking at in terms of the facial recognition. That's what BVR is. So if you're talking about buying kits, we are talking about kits that will be able to make such recognition of a prospective voter that is seen appearing in the voters' roll. So the kits cost of 50 million would be for the biometric kits that will recognize you as captured at registration. Is that correct?
Yeah.
That's what people don't understand in Congo. They just hear BVR, and they don't get to know what that BVR actually stands for. And I think NERA and all other political parties need to go out and outreach to actually explain what BVR is. Most people
I think Jacob Ngaruvume actually had the opportunity to explain to the people at the demonstration yesterday.
Now I'm talking about an outreach program in Congo.
Oh yeah, okay.
Point yangu imehuru was if we are going to have this BVR kit, and they're going to be at each and every polling station.
Do you want to send money to Zimbabwe? Well, your bank is here at no cost to you. That's right. No cost at all for you to transfer money to anyone.
I think you don't have all the information teach on this one.
Why?
You don't have all the information.
Yeah, but
Because
the message that live today.
No. Let me explain this. Let me explain this to you. UNDP did not come into this deal because of NERA. UNDP was appointed by ZEC, which is a government agency in a way. So NERA has nothing to do with this. You know, it just fought for the BVR and NERA and ZEC and the government.
You're answering a different question. I just told you, Mukoma Monzora, Honorable Veneko, in a panel discussion today, explained the history of the BVR kits and the involvement of the UNDP in terms of the procurement of these kits, and why now there's a problem because government wants to take over and use their own tender system to procure the kits. I'm just talking about what they are and how much they cost according to Mr. Monzora, who is the lawyer to NERA, and there's no reason why he would say the United Nations Development Program had actually got into a contract with the ZEC. NERA are only there to ensure that there is no anomalies or abuse of process by the government and ensuring that everyone sticks to what was agreed between ZEC and UNDP. According to Mr. Monzora, UNDP and ZEC have a contract which was agreed to by all political parties, and ZANU is backtracking on that signed contract. Unless you haven't listened to today's program where all the members of...
No, you are saying exactly the same thing that I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying.
So
this is not about me. It's not about NERA. It's about the government backtracking.
No,
that's what we should be discussing here.
All I'm asking you, Nkoma Tawanda, was a simple question. Roughly how much does one biometric kit cost? Roughly. I won't tie you to it.
No, I gave an estimate that I gave you, and I'll stick to that. That's the estimate that I have, and you understand when I say estimate, what it means.
50 million.
I said that's an estimate
of
the total cost of the whole program. The total cost of the whole program. And it's an estimate.
Don't teach Tawanda.
All right, Seguru Simbopinda Iton.
A problem might pakapa manyanya kuita polarized. Tawanda is trying to defend NERA. Teach is trying to play the devil's advocate. But I'm Musukundusisana uti play a devil's advocate.
Asking Seguru, and I'd like Nkoma Tawanda to be able to answer.
No, we're actually saying the same thing. I don't know why Teach is trying to complicate things here. We are saying the same thing. We are in agreement.
That's the way it is. The important thing of having a devil's advocate is that you are in agreement as to what is supposed to be done. But Mumumun are going to throw Maspanners deliberately into the works. How well prepared are you for the procurement process? Could you not zvinzaita 50 million munonzwisisa here kuti vazviwana sei kuti zvisvike 50 million hazvirei kuti tichi anoda kuti zvirijuswe ba ari kuda kuti NERA ive prepared.
Sekuru, that is an estimate. Do you understand that word? It's an estimate.
That is an estimate. The question is simply that.
You don't know Nkoma Tawanda if you don't.
The question is very simply that when these BVRs are going to be procured by ZEC through UNDP, and the ZEC says it cost the government or the UNDP 50 million. Because according to his research, at the very highest, the cost of the kits should be about 25 million.
Including the technical expertise.
That's according to his research. And it's not like he is saying NERA is incompetent. He is saying, I want to prod NERA to be alert to this possible fraud area.
Thank you, Sekur.
Yeah, but...
Okay.
Anyway, let's go on.
Okay.
Just conclude why I insist on that. I'm an international procurement expert. I'm a member of the Chartered Institute of Medicine and Supply, and I hold their highest qualification. So I know what I'm talking about.
No, teach. It's not. This is not about embarrassing people here or anyone. The idea here is to. No. Let me finish. Let me finish. No. Let me finish. You have your time to speak. Okay. The idea here, when we come to this program, we need to make the people of Zimbabwe aware of what is happening. And when the DJ asked me to come here and talk about the demonstration and what has been happening in Zimbabwe, I as an information person, I'm not a NERA technical person. I'm a NERA information person. I come with information that I have been given by NERA, by my principals, to come and tell the Zimbabwean people. So what I'm saying is what I have and is what is on the NERA documents, and it is what is on the ZEC documents, and it is also what is on the government documents. The estimate price for the whole program, not only of a certain piece of equipment, it's 50 million, and it's an estimate. So I don't think we should be dwelling too much on this. The issue at hand here is, why is the government backtracking? Is that why and what is the implication to the people of Zimbabwe and to the election? Not the cost. Let's not get things twisted here. Let's talk about what is important to the people of Zimbabwe. Teach, you said you are an expert. Can you please send the costs and everything for the BVR to the DJ? And I'll also do the same thing, and then we'll continue with the discussion. We don't want to continue to hear what you're saying and what your research is, because we cannot go on your research. The Zimbabwean people cannot go on your research. I am going on what is on ZEC and what is on the government and what is on NERA.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, but no, we are just saying, give us your information. Give the DJ your information, and then I'll also give him mine. We cannot come here and talk about your research.
Okay, guys. Okay, guys. Okay, we can't. Mukomati.
No. I just said, give your information, your technical information, what you have. You said you're an expert. Give it to the DJ, and I'll also give mine to the DJ. End of story. Let's proceed and talk productive things.
Can we calm down?
Okay.
Please?
Yeah.
Asking you the question. I'm the Zimbabwean.
No. This, you have...
Zvisinei vamoyo maswera seiko ku Australia?
Tamuka kana maswerawo.
Munawana sei ma biometric voters roll.
For me it is one of those things that people will do as a filler program. But with nothing at the end of the day. Ngoma teach asked the question, but the process, the biometric registration, is it going to be translated to biometric voting? Is there any possibility of biometric voting? If the answer is no, and obviously for obvious reasons. For example, the majority of our people, the majority of our voters are kuma rural areas. How can this system be effectively used, knowing the challenges that we know? So if it is not going to translate to the actual voting process itself, why this noise now? Why bother about it? To me, I begin to wonder, what exactly are we dealing with? Is this just not a case of people seeking cheap publicity?
Okay.
My other input to NERA, assuming there's something called NERA. What they are doing at the moment is they are busy shooting themselves in the foot. They are busy building whatever they are trying to build and destroy it themselves. What they did with ZEC, remember, ZEC is a constitutionally is a constitutional body which is operating at law, unlike NERA. And if you go with the aim of fighting ZEC, I think you are underestimating your capacity and what you can do. Looking at the statements and comments that were made by Rita Makarao, I think it will be very difficult for you people to go back to ZEC and engage them. By so doing, time is running out. 2018 is approaching very quickly. Before you know it, 2018 is here. While you are busy burning your own bridges. And I think you guys, you are doing yourself disservice, if anything, that you can actually hope to achieve. Because firstly, you don't have the legal basis. That's why Makwenda Street, and I don't think you have ever addressed anything from the street. If you cannot understand those basics, then you guys, you are just one big joke.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. Moyo.
Yeah, there's a question yabvunzwa mukoma Tawanda yekuti imimi murikuti ma biometric voters row aya aitwe munozokwanisa kuvota here biometrically.
First things first. I've already explained the issue of the voters' roll. That with the coming in of the BVR, we are going to have for the first time a new and clean voters' roll. This is one thing that one tool that ZANU-PF has been using to rig elections. So that in itself, just a new voters' roll, is a big achievement. So we need that. This is what we have been fighting for. We need a new voters' roll. Mr. Moyo is saying, no, let me finish, Mr. Moyo. You were talking and we're all listening. Mr. Moyo is saying we are wasting our time. Mr. Moyo is saying we are wasting our time by going into the streets. Going into the streets, the demonstrations, the very same demonstrations are the ones that pushed the government to agree to BVR. And they agreed on their own. And they contracted UNDP. And now our question is, they are making a U-turn. They are making a somersault. Because they've seen that they are no longer going to be able to rig the elections the way they have been doing. So now as NERA, this is what we are fighting. And we expect that fight to be joined in by all patriotic Zimbabweans. So that we fight together. So that the government go back to its agreement. How do you sign an agreement and then the next, after 2-3 weeks, you're going back on that agreement saying you're not going to honor it? That's what we are fighting. We are fighting something that the government already had agreed to.
Okay, guys.
What reason have they given so far?
I didn't hear your question.
What reasons have they given so far for their about 10?
No, I can ask you that question because you are the one who is playing devil's advocate. I will focus on what we are supposed to do as NERA to make sure that the government honors, its agreement. Whatever it promised the Zimbabwean people is what the government should do. They promised the Zimbabwean people that UNDP was going to help in the procurement of the BVR, and they said that, and they agreed to that, and they should honor it. Why are they somersaulting? Why are they backtracking?
Okay.
Because as to us, it's because they've seen that there is no pathway to rigging. They cannot put in those dead people in the voters' roll. They cannot bust people. That's the reason why the government is backtracking. And we need every patriotic Zimbabwean to come to NERA, to come to be with us and fight with us so that the government honors its commitment.
No,
no. Okay, Sekuru. Sekuru Chimbomirai Makadaro. Right. Number one, Sekuru. Do you think this biometric voter registration is a good thing for us? And tell me why it is a good. Or if it's a bad thing, tell me why it's a bad. Please, in short, because they are saying they are confused now with what's going on. Do you think it's a good thing? or it's a bad thing? Mundi Power, a little, discussion. Why do you think it's a bad thing? It's a waste of time, like what Vamoyo is saying.
Ini biometric voter registration tinoifarira zvikuru.
Yes.
Inobatsira kuita eviscerate our voters roll yakagadzirwa natobayiwa mudede ikainheritwa nezek ine vanhu vakafa kare kare vari kungonzwa maregistered voters, ine vanhu vane zvitupa zvakaisa kuti dollar maker, vane mazita asingambozikanwi munyika medu, vanongonzi vari panzvimbo imwe, one address, thousands and thousands of voters. Evisceration data integrity inenge ichichekiwa voters roll, and the biometric voters registration will emerge those anomalies and they correct the constituencies to their correct sizes, because kune about 6 million 7 million registered voters. We are just talking about vanhu vese vakaenda outside the borders vasiri kuvhota, vari kuvhota vane vamwe vanhu vasiri registered. So because biometric inotora chigunwe chako, yotora face yako yoisa pavoters roll, yoita database, zvinobatsira kuti kana takuzopinda panext phase yokuti takuda kuchicheka kana munhu achivhota manje, zvoreva kuti uyu election officer anenge ane computer pamberi pake, so wosvika woti voter card yako iyo handiti iyo bva capture voter card yakana ine chichip unongoiswapa, ukaiswapa kudai yobva yabudisa picture yako sezvauri nenhamba dzako dzechitupa nechithambuprint chako chiya, wocheka kuti ndizvo here zviri pari pavoter registration yako. Zvikaita match wopuwa ballot rako wonovhota, zvikaita mismatch wombonzi chimbomira.
Can Zimbabwe afford this biometric voters registration? Can Zimbabwe afford it? I know you were talking of figures there, I'm more to 50 or more to 25 million.
Yeah, but let me now cue that argument, because that argument had a range between Tawanda and the muzukuru wangu teach for too long, tichida kuicorrecta kuti isareba isatsamwisa vanhu, ivo vanhu vacho ndobva vaomesa musoro vese. The truth is pamakidzi ari kutaurwa haasviki 50 million, that is the truth. What is important is that the kids themselves are not the major worry. The major worry is the network to ensure that there is biometric voting.
ndachida kubvunza sekuru.
Aiwa mukoma chimbomirai makadaro ndichakupai mukana just now.
It means we must expand our internet system so much so that inofana kutacha kumaruzevha, kana yatacha kumaruzevha kokwanisa kuti voter upload achiswa kucloud so that they go into a server ye-ZEC. Now, to do that, it means that our network internet must be very, very pervasive.
Which is not going to happen, Sekuru, Zimbabwe. This is the issue.
No, that's where NDP was coming in, because NDP was saying we are prepared to Zimbabwe. We are prepared to assist the government of Zimbabwe and they chip in with the cost of that procurement. And then the other money is what we call network development. Now, Zambia owner would pay Marie it was pledged. Zambia would know, is it a Marie diamond? Yatakaba. So we are going to procure them and they use our own resources. And this is now what is hitting one. Tawanda vari kutungamira ndera. And isusu wamwano toda kuti tiwine kuvhota natichi ari kurwadziwa kuti pati yake inoda kuti itsvage president asabirirwa haangabirwi mari obirirwa zvechi mavhota acho nokuda kwokuti kwatengwa chisina basa. So he is trying to prod Nera to go a bit further and say imi vanhu venhingiri venera imimi zvamakamirira zvino zvemademocratic forces chii taikuita find out kuti tinozoita sei kana kusina network, moona kuti cost yacho inozofutiwa sei. Is it involved in the contract yakasainiwa between ZEC and NDP?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Okay, Sekuru, matsanangudza zvakanaka. Someone is saying that have you considered vaya vanoita hack these computers that people will be using?
Mahackers ariko haashaikwi. Zvakangofanana nokuti iyo vhota yedu yemanual yatiri kuita inongova nemahackers iwawo futi, because tiri kungohakiwa neriginga nenikufu. Hapana heka here apa aripo. Why are we afraid of technology?
Okay, right. Okay, Sekuru, thank you so much. Regain tipe kuna mkoma Wilbert wasati wambotaura. Mkoma Wilbert, do you like this idea of my biometric sign?
I think this is the right direction to go. There is nothing wrong with technology, and as this system will capture a lot more information about the electorate. There's nothing wrong with it. The only problem here is that we should not deceive ourselves to think that the system will iron out all the vote rigging that has been taking place. No. The point is the system is only as good as the people who are using it. In this particular case, one of the possibilities that is why Nara guys are worried about is that ZANU-PF is realizing that if UNDP procures the system, they may procure it in such a way that they may find it very difficult to tamper with it. To just come up to a point that Sekuru was talking about, my understanding of the system and how it was going to be used is that it's not going to be linked. Each polling station will have an X number of voters whose data is on that computer, and only they can vote on that polling station and nowhere else. It's not linked with any other system. If you go to polling station A and your data is not there, they cannot even tell you in what polling station your data is in, because they are not linked. That's my understanding of how what they were proposing to do. But in this particular case, the important thing that we have got to realize is we can spend so much money on a system that without having the people who run it, whom we have got trust in, we will still end up with a system where people are complaining the whole system was rigged. That is why you are saying the reforms should have been people like Rita Makarawa and their team are the sort of people whom we can say, yes, we've got confidence in. To give her, when you're saying you have no confidence in her and their team, and you give her new equipment, and you seriously think the new equipment is going to stop them rigging, I think that is what the problem was here.
Okay. Thank you so much. Sally, do you like this biometric voter registration?
Yeah, in fantasy land it works out wonderfully. Look, as far as I'm concerned, there's how much time left to the election. It's the wrong time to bring it in, number one. Number two, if Nikov is involved in anything to do with elections, I don't care how security conscious it is and safe and everything, Nikov is involved, forget it. Okay? They will find a way around everything. Okay? That's number one. Number two, Zimbabwe is not ready for this. seriously, it needed to start happening 3-4 years ago. Okay. I mean, now you were bringing in this thing. Look at the arguments that you've got already. One doesn't even understand what the other one is saying and automatically assigns him to be ZANU-PF. Okay. And Titch is trying very hard to keep his cool and I mean, it's a mess. And you expect the people in the rural area to understand what's going on. Come on, people. And this business to do with Zek as impartial. That's a joke. Seriously. I mean,
that's
really,
a very sneaky laugh there, Sally. What's going on?
Because it sounds like a Donald Trump movie. I mean, come on, people. Zek impartial? Ah, please. And you think that Nikov isn't going to mess up BVR? That's another joke. Okay? This is not the time to bring in this BVR technology and everything. Nobody is ready for it. Okay? It's going to be a mess. And now the ZANU-PF is getting its fingers on it.
Hold on, Sally. Tawanda, bisa video yako mani.
What video?
Tawanda Tokora wants to show a video. I've sent the video.
I'm sorry, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Which one is that, Sekuru? We can't see it here.
About video. It's written on my computer here.
Just refuse it.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm just listening. I didn't even touch anything.
No, Mkoma Tawanda is not doing anything. He's just listening.
Let me decline it. Sally, you can carry on. Thanks.
Oh, thank you, Sekuru. That is so kind of you. Next time somebody sends you their camera thing, just refuse it. It says they accept or decline. Just decline it, that's all.
Thank you.
Look. Okay, no, I'm sorry. This thing is just turning into a big mess. And the only people that are going to suffer in this whole thing are the Zimbabweans. Seriously, we need to concentrate on the basic things that need to be done. Okay, there's time for BVR, but it ain't now.
Okay, all right. Okay, sorry. Mukoma Teach, it looks like Pakutanga, you were agreeing with what Mukoma Tawanda was saying. Then suddenly, I don't know what happened there. I had problems, Kunokuma Studios, and you guys were going on and on and on and on. Let me.
I still am on Koma Sodza. It's unfortunate he can't handle devil's advocates that I really think would help him. Instead, he decided to actually go full spectrum arguing with me. Ultimately, I was going to help him answer some of the questions, but I wanted him to answer them from his own perspective.
Can you answer some of the questions that we're asking him for the benefit of people that are listening, if you do think it's very important information?
First and foremost, what is important is the infrastructure that supports BVR use. That infrastructure is telecommunications. And in Zimbabwe, that is only provided by the telecommunications section within the ministry and the various service providers, including quasi-government ones like Tel1, FirstTel, Net1, and
Econet.
and Econet and the Mango people. So are those people going to be on board in terms of boosting their networks to the booths or to the polling booths or registration booths that will be there? Because as far as I am made to understand, about 9,300 voter registration centers, which in effect will be the same polling stations, are going to be utilized for this voter registration exercise. I'm thinking Binga, which is very, very isolated and has no such network infrastructure. Sometimes we struggle for the signal of his telephone or my mobile phone. How are they going to be doing this? Are they going to end up with people being registered manually and then someone taking a manual list for data input to KG6 or to ZEC offices? Exactly where will be the technical staff of ZEC that will be responsible for this? Because if you're thinking 9,000 booths, assume maybe there's 3 or 4 people manning those. You're already looking at something like what? 36,000 people or more as staff complement. And where are these people going to be reporting to? Where is the infrastructure going to be placed? Who is going to be in charge? We all know that software is very easy to manipulate. Are we going to be seeing independent software experts being involved, or is it going to be government experts that are responsible for our passport processing? Because right now, passport processing and national identity processing is biometric, and government is the only people that have got this expertise at KG6, where the processing of our national identity documents is done. And these people know how to manipulate this particular data in their way. Is it the reason why government now wants to take over so that they can use people in what they call a familiar ground of themselves, which they can manipulate? This is my concern. If NERA is not pushing about that and saying that the government involvement needs to be limited to the constitutional body, which is ZEC, and independent bodies to ensure that ZEC is acting as independently as it should. Then that means ZEC will be the one that is procuring these kits through any third party of their choice, which is non-governmental. And also it is ZEC that is liaising with the technology experts in terms of the telecommunications industry to provide them with the signal to be able to do the data transfers that they need by providing the bandwidth necessary for that kind of bulk data transfer. And if they're going to be spending 15 days at each registration center, is that adequate? At what time of the year are they going there? Are people going to be free from schools and other activities that they're able to concentrate within those 15 days for that? The timing and everything to do with this is a lot of technical stuff as far as I'm concerned. And if you think that people of Aruguri Magmamisha will be told with Michenda Vota, and if it's not in the interest of ZANU-PF where they can kokoro the headmen to head their people like sheep to registration centers, then if ZANU-PF doesn't buy into it, then it's a problem because they will be involved. But if Zeka came independently, then Ishori Yawa knows that if they don't get to go and register, because an independent body is demanding that it be done by providing the nation with what they have in terms of technical expertise and their rollout programs. So I'd like to see one, ZEC saying they are in charge, just that alone, they're in charge. Two, I want to see them proceed with the contract signed with the UNDP and bringing in the UNDP and agreeing a transparent program of training locals that will be working on behalf of ZEC in liaison with the stakeholders, which are the political parties, and ensuring that political parties have got nominated personnel that are free to go and monitor what is happening without interfering, but are free to go and monitor what is happening and the fairness of it all and the transparency of it all. I would like to see that as part of the ZEC own rollout program. I would like to see ZEC saying they've agreed with Econet and all the other service providers that they will provide on those 15 days of registration a signal that is strong enough or bandwidth that is wide enough to allow for data transfer of all these things to the servers as agreed. And that when the servers are done and they are agreed, the voters' roll will immediately be available both online and as an electronic version to the political parties to verify. And then finally, there should be a pilot program of rollout to test if it really works. And that pilot program should be across the country, touching all the most remote areas with the participation of all the political parties. And then we can have an authentic voters' roll, even though we may not use it for actual voting. But it means that everyone who will have voted will have been fully authenticated biometrically.
Okay, thank you so much mukoma teacher. Ndida kuzondopedzisira mukoma Tawanda ndanzwa kubva kuna Wamoyo shortly, so that if he has got anything to answer of what you were saying, you guys, or whatever you suggested, he can answer that afterwards. Wamoyo, it looks like you say this is a dead deal. Can you explain why you think this is a dead deal?
It is definitely. Please, you can actually write this one down. It is definitely a no-hopper. In that, as what has already been alluded to by Mkoma Teach, the infrastructure that is required to filter every corner of Zimbabwe, which even includes electricity, which even includes the telecoms infrastructure, which even includes the basic technical know-how, and even the personnel to do that, looking at the time left, these people are wasting their time. And secondly, they have already given ZEC the perfect excuse to disregard them. Because if you look at the comments by Rita Makarawi herself, when she walked out of that meeting, she actually said, this gathering, this engagement is counterproductive. It's actually an attempt to humiliate us in a manner that we cannot accept. So the moment she adopts that position, these guys have no alternative. So they are burning bridges with ZEC, and there is no infrastructure to actually effectively implement the program they are talking about. And there's no time for that. And why they are wasting their time, it's only them who know. This is a complete waste of time. They can write it down if they want and make reference to it next time.
I have written it down. Wamoyo, kana muchiti mimi they are burning bridges with ZEC. Is ZEC not supposed to be a neutral institution?
Remember, it is supposed to be neutral, but it's composed of people with feelings. And if Rita Makarau says these people are just out there to humiliate us, it means she has already taken a position. Who appoints
these senior personnel of to run ZEC? Who appoints them?
Mkomaga, these people were put in place during the time of the government of national unity.
No, that's not true.
It was.
No, that's not true. That's not true.
It was Morgan Changirai.
No, that is not true. The only person who was appointed during the GNU was Rita Makarau. The rest of the staff she inherited.
Okay, but the GNU could not have appointed one person.
That's what they did. They appointed Rita Makarau, and Rita Makarau in place.
Remember, this is the same team.
Secretariat.
This is the same team that ran the elections. And the elections were run during the tenure of the GNU. So these people came into existence during the time of the GNU.
No, Moyo. I think it's a waste of time, man. Moyo, I think it's a waste of time. You know very well.
Yeah, that is besides the point. But what I'm saying here is, ZEC is a constitutional body with a mandate to prepare and run elections. And remember, they are supposed to be an independent body. And therefore, for them to engage anyone else, it's not a legal requirement. It's courtesy. This is what I'm saying. This is the reason why I'm saying they are burning bridges. If they were supposed to have input into ZEC, it's at the pleasure of ZEC itself to invite them. It's not a requirement. There's no requirement there. That's why these people, they didn't go to court. They jumped into the street because they have no legal basis. They know it. These are the bridges I'm talking about, which is very simple and straightforward. You could, right now, let's wait and see the next time that you are going to be able to engage ZEC again after what you have done. These are the bridges I'm talking about. And it's as simple as I'm putting it right here.
Okay, right. Okay, thank you so much. It's 7 minutes before midnight, Kunoku United Kingdom. Mukoma Tawanda, if you heard what everyone has had to say about these biometric voter registration that you are advocating to. I mean, what's your thoughts on this? After hearing what others have to say.
Yeah, Komatich, it's not me who is advocating for the biometric voter registration. It is the people of Zimbabwe. NERA is representing the people of Zimbabwe. The political parties who called for these demonstrations are a representative of the people of Zimbabwe. And the indication that the people of Zimbabwe are in agreement to their political parties, are in agreement with NERA, is the turnout, the people who came to support this demonstration. So it's not about me, it's not about anyone, it's about the people of Zimbabwe. And what NERA is simply doing, by exercising their democratic right and going in the streets, is just holding the government of Zimbabwe accountable. If it is a government of the people, by the people, when it makes big decisions like backing off a contract that it has signed, I believe that they must consult the people, they must go to the people and talk to the people and give reasons and explain to the people why they are doing that. That is what a government of the people should do. So this is what NERA is simply doing. We're not doing anything. The government has already agreed to work with UNDP, and it was good for the people of Zimbabwe because we're going to come up with a new voters' roll. Now the choice we have as Zimbabwean people is we either fight this together and hold the government accountable and hold the government and make sure that the government goes back to its agreement, and then we have a new voters' roll, or the government is going to successfully backtrack, and we are going to be faced in 2018 with the old voters' roll with dead people. That is the choice we have here. So the stakes are too high, people. The stakes are too high. We should fight together as Zimbabwean people than for us to come here and try to play devil's advocate when we are confusing the people of Zimbabwe, when we all know the information. The people of Zimbabwe can stand for themselves. They can ask questions. And the people in Zimbabwe are going to be educated about this, and they are going to have a chance to ask all the questions that it was trying to say is representing the people. So when we have issues of national importance like this, we should gather together and face the situation and discuss the important issues. The important issue here today was the government backed off. The government is backtracking, and it must be held accountable. And that's what NERA is doing.
Right.
And we should, have all patriotic Zimbabweans supporting that.
Mukoma Tawanda.
I'm Goma.
But
people are dying on a daily basis.
Vamoyo.
Since people are dying on a daily basis, how will you ensure that these people are removed on a daily basis?
Vamoyo, Batai, please. Batai Makadar, Batai. Mukoma Tawanda, I just want to ask you. Sorry?
Yes.
I can answer you.
No, let the DJ speak.
I just want to ask a simple question.
To answer a question.
Yes.
The thing is, what I want to ask you, Mukoma Tawanda, is the word infrastructure. Listen, you are talking to people here who sometimes they know. I've been to Zimbabwe timelessly myself, and my mobile phone, I take it there, I want to go on Facebook, I'm only there for 2 minutes and the bundle is gone and there's no network and all that. People are asking about the infrastructure. Have NERA thought about the infrastructure, going Kubinga, going Kuchipinge, to try and do this? Kusina magetsi, kusina internet. How is this workable?
Yes, that's exactly the phase 2 that I was talking about. And all has been taken care of. People, we have a team of experts working with NERA right now. And it's surprising, DJ, because all the people who are on this panel belong to political parties who are in agreement to this process, and some of them have access to their presidents. They should actually be, taking this information to their president, because their president agreed to everything that we are discussing here.
Yeah,
and,
but can you...
Yes, to answer your question in short, yes, it is possible.
It is possible.
It is possible.
Okay. All right.
But with due respect to Komata Wandaga, as an information person, we NERA, you are not doing the organization any favor. Because when we are trying to put across a concern, we do expect you to take note of it, table it before your experts, and then get a correct answer and come back to us. We don't expect you to have ready answers for everything. So, in my own view, and this is very personal, in my own view, I support what NERA is doing. I support what you are representing. I support what you stand for. But I'm not happy that you are failing to articulate the position of the organization with facts. And when you don't have the facts, you are not being humble enough to say, look, I'm going to find out for you and I'll come back and report back to you. That's all.
Right. What do you say about that, Mkoma Tawanda?
I as far in you know me, Mr. Mkoma Sodza.
Yes, I do.
When I don't have information, I have always come through and said I'm not sure. And the way he's trying to hold me accountable is on the number that I gave, that an estimate of 50 million. That is what is there. That is what is in the papers. That is what NERA has. That is what ZEC has. That is what the government has. So that is what I was going on. You know. Other than that, there is no wrong information that I gave to the people of Zimbabwe, and there is no information that I failed to articulate. Everything that I said is what you go and find on NERA.
Sekuru, okay, ngatiregerei kurowa takaiga mpini. Sekuru, what do you feel that Mkoma Tawanda failed to articulate there,
yes, thank
if
you.
I may ask?
Thank you.
The first thing is that the issue of a devil's advocate was misconstrued to be an argument for ZANU-PF. It was never intended to be an argument to support the ZANU-PF stance. It was supposed to prod NERA to find out how prepared are they to counter the possibility of a fraudulent deal going through and overtaxing people with 50 million. But
yes,
that money...
you know, I think... No. Seguru, I never said Teach is ZANU-PF. All I said was Teach is saying the very same things that are in the Herald, that are being counted by ZANU-PF experts who are saying Zimbabwe is not ready. That's what I said. I never said Teach is ZANU-PF.
You said.
That's and that's not failing to articulate information. I just said Teach is agreeing with ZANU-PF experts, and that's true. I stand with that. I'm not going to backtrack on that, and I'm not going to apologize on that.
Tawanda, the problem you have with me is that I'm giving you feedback as a citizen of Zimbabwe.
Yeah, but I'm telling you that I didn't say he's ZANU-PF.
No.
I didn't say he's ZANU-PF. I said he's agreeing with ZANU-PF experts, and that's true, and that's a fact.
Did you hear what I said?
I heard what you said.
What did I say? What exactly did I say?
I'm not in class here, Seguru.
Okay.
I heard what you said, and I responded to you.
So arrogance yacho atiri kutaura kuti dai wasiyana nayo arrogance iyoyo.
It's not arrogance. You are lying. I did not say Teach is ZANU-PF. That's a lie.
It's arrogance.
I said he is saying the same things as ZANU-PF experts.
Hey, Mkoma Teach, what do you want to say?
Don't put words in my mouth. Don't put words in my mouth. I didn't say Teach is ZANU-PF.
Okay, Mkoma Tawanda Batai.
I just wanted to say, let's not get bogged down by semantics. That's all I really wanted to say. And on the matter of Mkoma Tawanda not articulating issues, I think what Mkoma Tawanda has done is try to present it as positively as he feels he has to, or he is obliged to, as an information officer. And then I said from the very beginning that I'm going to play the devil's advocate and challenge Mkoma Tawanda on what is out there in the public and is trending on social media. And I even said I will be using my own personal expertise in these issues. And that's all I'm saying. And I'm only saying that Mkoma Tawanda, I think, has done well to make a presentation and articulate whatever it is that he wanted to articulate. But I would only urge him to say, take on board the challenges that we are raising, the issues that we are raising, you can see and dismiss us and say, oh, well, if they don't agree with me, that's their problem. That would be unfortunate, because the same issues, I can guarantee you, we are not picking them from the air. They're coming from the people. We are the Zimbabweans, which means we talk with each other, and we're the people that you are representing. And if we challenge you, take it positively, my brother. We are not at war with each other. Basically, you and me are on the same side. So we're only just saying, if these issues that we are raising, and in the Z-Sugar review you've had, you go back, and I'm sure you're going to check it out and talk with your colleagues within the body, and eventually come up with answers that are plausible for all of us. But as I have said, for me, the most important thing that NERA should insist on is the independence of ZEC, both in the procurement, rollout program, and piloting of this issue.
Right. Okay. Thank you very much, Mkomatich. I mean, now we are talking very positive, and I totally agree with you. If there are issues, I mean, definitely that have to be dealt with by NERA. I mean, I would definitely take them back to the people responsible. And for just to set the record straight, it's not like I requested to come here and talk about biometric registration. I wasn't even prepared for it. The DJ said this is what was happening in Zimbabwe. Can we talk about it? And as a person for the people, I said let's discuss it. It's not like I requested to come here and give you information, you know. But anyway, thank you so much. Whatever has been discussed here will be taken back. But I will not go back. I will not apologize for, you know, Sekuru for what he's trying to say, putting words in my mouth. I did not accuse anyone of being ZANU-PF, and no one, that includes Sekuru, can force me to admit that I accused anyone of being ZANU-PF.
Well, I didn't even accuse you of having said that.
You said that.
I said you misconstrued. You misconstrued the concept of a devil's advocate.
No, you said ZANU-PF. You mentioned the word ZANU-PF.
I haven't finished.
Can I just say something there, DJ? I think Tawanda should also take it up on board what Sally was trying to say, and I think it is a very important point that in this particular case, NARA to engage ZEC is not independent. ZEC cannot be expected to act in an independent way. ZEC on its own cannot stop the interference with NICUF. So this is NARA needs to up their game and realize engaging ZEC on its own is just a body. It's like engaging the dog. The master is the guy you need to engage. So the political parties need to engage the whole system. How are we going to change the whole system rather than look at the individuals? Because I think some of the articles coming from some of these opposition parties were even talking of targeting Rita herself, that she must go. Even if Rita was fired tomorrow, Mugabe will just appoint somebody who is equally bad or worse.
Yeah.
You know, Nico will only be involved. Nico will only be involved if we don't support each other. You know, Nico will be used by ZANU-PF if ZANU-PF successfully backtracks. But if UNDP is going to be involved in this, Nico will never get that contract. There are other more credible people and companies who can get that contract, not Nico. So we'll not even have Nico to worry about.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Is involved.
I'm sorry. Wamoyo, you wanted to ask a question there before?
Sorry?
You wanted to ask a question that Mkomatich was willing to answer. Can you ask that question again and Mkomatich will answer it for you?
Can you remove
they die from the voters roll?
Yeah. This is what I wanted to say, Ramguti. Is it possible to have a voters roll with no names of dead people and yet people are dying on a daily basis?
Let me answer it now. What happens when a person dies in Congo?
He is buried.
How?
Say. Sorry?
Say.
Officially, my official.
Hold on, Sekuru.
No, hold on, Sekuru.
How is it done?
Oh, how is it done? I know what you're looking for.
Yeah,
in fact, they go and get a certificate of death and then a burial order, and eventually.
Now they get a burial order first. The burial order is the one that is used to get a death certificate.
Yeah. In fact, I said and. I didn't say in.
No, you started from the back, so we wanted to understand. You understand the process.
Okay. And then what?
If you get a burial order you'll get it probably from wherever you get the person dying, whether it's at the hospital, where the doctor certifies that the person is definitely dead, blah, blah, blah. Or if they're dying at home, they're taken to the mortuary, which will certify that they've received the corpse of the dead person, blah, blah, which means that person is going to be buried. That's where burial order originates. Thereafter, people will have to go to the Registrar General to register the death and get a death certificate so they can get benefits or distribute the estate or register it with the High Court. Because right now, the Registrar General is on biometric integrated system. When a person is born, he is automatically added the moment his death certificate is issued, including his national registration number is immediately generated, even though you will only get his actual national ID at 18 at the age of universal suffrage. When a person dies, when you register a death certificate, automatically it should capture that person is
this process. No, Mkoma, we
could be, I want to answer you.
No, we could be running out of time, guy. This is taking too long. Very long.
DJ, maybe out of time. So automatically.
No, so I should know what I'm looking for.
No, you are running away from the answer because you wanted to be mischievous.
In any case, before we start name calling, what I'm looking at, I know the process. I know the process. This process you're talking about, everybody knows it.
No.
But what I'm looking at, is how does this happen in the rural Chesa area there, where these processes usually don't exist.
I don't know where you come from. In Zimbabwe, hold on. In Zimbabwe, it's a legal requirement that you go to the police and register the death and get a burial order. Hakuna mwana go privately in Zimbabwe. No way. No matter how remote, you still get a burial order. It does not.
Could one
police?
Kwa mujiti. Yoko wanonoitora. The undertaker will do it for you. They've got the capacity to do it, just as ministers of religion to give you a marriage certificate.
Imamo yokwenyona unongofa mucherera pasi chete zvaperera.
No, they are kune mamwe rural areas where such formalities are a luxury that people can actually do without. They can do without. And if they do it, nothing happens to them anyway. And then then what after that?
Kwanzi, a point of correction, kunamkoma teach. Is it 18 or 16 years that a person can take an ID in Zimbabwe?
18. Definitely 18.
Oh, okay. Kuna 16 kunoka. I don't know.
No, they can take a driver's license at 16, but they cannot take it to
before 18. Okay. Right. Maria Zimbabwe Dozo Zvineita, thank you so much for the show. Mukoma teach.
Yes, sir.
Manonoka kusvika hapo na wamoyo manonoka kusvika. That Sekuru is the campaign manager for the nomination that was given kuti tindopuwa ma prize kuzima Achievers Awards. Saka Sekuru is running a campaign to cast votes on the website of Zema Achievers Awards. would you take Sekuru as a credible campaign manager kana kuti tondotsvaga chiyango?
Yeah, I think Sekuru will do a wonderful job. Assisted my darling Sally. But keep your fingers away, Sekuru.
Okay.
If you ask me.
Vamoyo, do you think Sekuru is a good candidate?
No. I have to be honest as usual.
So who do you think is a good candidate?
Sure.
Kaka Moyo, are you not going to vote for Sodza?
No, in I will. But if the youth
manager vote papa china ndatowina vote ka.
Aiwa inzwaika sekuzwa kuti senda daro here.
Aiwa zvokuti waitire izvo ndezvako izvo isusu toda vote.
I have to give reasons lesekuru. Isusu atotaura zvine ma-reasons kuti sendidaro.
Asina basa, ma-reasons ako hana basa. What we want is your vote for Sodza. Is it wangoda kuti bata kumesere kuti unovhotera Sodza?
Ini ndokudza zvinoitika chaizvo.
Unovhotera Sodza here.
Your vote, one vote, can you give your vote or not?
Ninge ini ndinovhotera Sodza.
Good, zvapera. Case.
Aiwa zvapera.
Mungati?
Mkomatauro vachiripo?
Varipo.
Ndiripo. Ndiripo. Vanoda kundireva here. Yeah, DJ, you have my DJ Sodza, you have my vote. I've already said, you're playing a very important part in the struggle, so keep doing the good job you're doing, and Zimbabwe loves you, and we'll definitely vote for you.
Oh, thank you so
much. Vatereri vedu vese veZimnet Radio kana DJ wedu weprogram inoi anominatwa, ngatiitei chihwirangwe tomuvhotera iye chete. Kuipa kwake kana akaipa handisi tomuudza kuti wakaipa pakati, asi tamuvhotera.
Chirirango ichocho sekuru ndochatiri kuda even pamusangano wedu weZimbabwe kuti ienderere mberi. Ngatisiyanei nezvekuvengana zvevanhu. Kana pauya paitaurwa nyaya nebasa, ngaitaurwe nyaya nebasa sevana veZimbabwe. Kwete zvokuti kundotaridza kuti uyo ndisvosve, uyo ndinhingi, uyo nditichi. Ngataurei nyaya iripo senyaya yevana vemaZimbabwe.
Ko kana nyaya yacho iine basa rekudzosera Zimbabwe kumashure, toita sei nayo?
Zvinoonekwa nemamoyo chetezo.
Right, Mkwamazodza.
Yes.
Ndada kupa hangu warning. Warning, kaka warning kadidi.
Okay.
Kune vamwe vanhu vekuti mukangoona vakangouya vakatanga kumusapota ika. Yato reason yekurusa. Ndo vakadigisa kuti Hillary Clinton nekumusapota iwa. Kwa vanenge vatongoenda chete ku downside.
Ndiwa nani manje iwawo?
Mukati
ndiwa nani manje wamukureva?
Matindanani. Akambosapotwa naSekuru nana Peve nana Rove nana Mukoma Wibeta akawina ndiye.
But imimi kama winners muri kundisapota futi, so it should work out.
Ninge
Moyo.
Moyo. Temba isizo vashoma manje.
Moyo. You may have missed it, but recently I promoted my niece akawina pageant competition. Iwewe ukatumvhotera futi.
Yeah, Ningi. But Sekuru, there are just a few. Sometimes, there are a few exceptions to the law. But
all right.
But
apa pana Sodza futi apa kapo. Apa pana Sodza tikatoisa we campaign manager vanhu vese vanotobva vatiza kuti chaiko. Saka beta atitoita inini zvangu muzukuru.
Sodza.
Yes, Baba.
The site is now open. Actually, you can vote now.
Is it?
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, what do you do? Mama voter here.
Yeah, that's not voter.
What do you do?
Voter say you. If you go to Zimbabwe, achievers.
Can I link pa group up?
Yeah, it's a link.
It's there. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Zimbabwe. Tosangana Sondori no uyakavanhu. Anyone wants to suggest what we can talk about next week, guys, before we go? Kana kuti we just wait and see what happens in the week?
There it is. I put it on now.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
That much dimbura kumasa delegation link.
That much dimbura. Taurai kudaro. Taurai zvamataura mukomatichi nechindeveri.
Ungarastumi phela mfethu.
Okay.
Hanzi ungarastumi.
Ungarastumi.
Do you want to send money to Zimbabwe? Well, your bank is here at no cost to you. That's right. No cost at all for you to transfer money to anyone in Zimbabwe. All transactions are in US dollars, delivered within 24 hours. No bond notes. For more information, please contact Dr. Pimerson at 469-348-8895 or Dr. Peter Ruinger at 574-315-5080. Remember, no transfer cost to you, no bond notes, and delivered within 24 hours.
Chief Mostivity. Zaira imafanzangu Kosimule taura kuti tine DJ fanzan Sem Chris level imenu Handifungikana ndichawana mumwe Handifungikana kunze kuine mumwe Handifungikana paine mumwe Anokwanisa kundipa rudoserwa anondipa Ndiye anonditenderedza musoro yeyu mundi wao wangu Musandione kutsika mamazuva ano ndakura Ndiye anondipedzera rudo yeyu mundi wao wangu Usandione kusika mamazuva ano ndakura Hakuchina mumwe Wandichada sewe Nina ndifunge ndichawana mumwe Wandichada sewe Wana baby Ndatokupa moyo wangu Usazondirasisa Kubaya baya moyo wangu Ndiye anonditenderedza musoro yeyu mundi wao wangu Usandione kusika mamazuva ano ndakura Ndiye anondipedzera rudo yeyu mundi wao wangu Usandione kusika mamazuva ano ndakura Handicharova zvimaraundi zvimwe zvisina basa Iko zvino ndichangobva kubasa Ndonange kumba kune rimwe basa Ndonona wangu baby Achiti I miss you daddy Maswera musipo daddy Chimbogara ine papa daddy Chimbondibata iso abate Ndiye anonditenderedza musoro yeyu mundi wao wangu Usandione kusika mamazuva ano ndakura Ndiye anondipedzera rudo yeyu mundi wao wangu Usandione kusika mamazuva ano ndakura Hakuchina mumwe Wandichada sewe Nina ndifunge ndichawana mumwe Wandichada sewe Wana baby Ndatokupa moyo wangu Usazondirasisa Kubaya